The chair recognizes the honorable member for Killarney.
Thank you. No, I'm not trying to rock. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I always enjoy listening to the member for Charlotte. We're schoolmates, and he always spoke with eloquence, and most of all, he spoke facts. But I want to open up by saying we need people in Parliament regardless of party colors. Madam Speaker, when I came this morning, there was a BPSU union gathering, demonstration, and they were hoping to meet with the Prime Minister to resolve certain issues. I'm happy to hear that the Prime Minister had met, and I hope that he would have resolved those issues. I would have gone through those concerns and problems also as former Prime Minister. And I may have made mistakes, but it's essential for you to listen to the people and come to a resolution and resolve the issues that the people may have. And I hope at that meeting they would have resolved it. And if it had not been resolved, I would hope that they would be resolved this week or very, very soon. Because at this time, many people are hurting. Many of our people are hurting. And before I ended politics, Madam Speaker, before I ended politics, it was a decision whether one can serve two masters, being active in medicine and active in politics. And I'd made a determination that I would retire from medicine. I was not moved by money. At that time, I was successful, and I had sufficient for myself, my kids, and the family, and I felt I could live comfortable. I was not interested in power, and I demonstrated no form of greed. I was more interested and concerned with helping the people. And I will always recall when I had asked my last son, he was a child at that time, and I said to him that I was going in politics, and I would always remember his words to me, and I lived by those words. He said he did not like politics, but he would only accept it if I were going into it for several reasons. But the most important reason, what resonated with me, he said, you must be going to help the people and not just self. And I live by those words, Madam Speaker. We must move beyond party colors. We must always put the people first, not ourselves. But another motivating factor that pushed me into politics was a personal experience, two experiences. My mother building our home, which took years upon years, but to have certain things done or certain approvals through the government, she had to pay all sorts of kickbacks. And though at that time she may have only had to pay $10, $20, that was plenty for us. And I've always said that there must be a better way. And then as I grew and became a physician and made a success of myself, investments, etc., I wanted to establish my own medical facility. Madam Speaker, what was disheartening to me, the building or the property I had, to my left was a medical facility, and to my right was a medical facility. I was in the middle and denied approval to construct a medical facility. And the reason given was that the area was not zoned as commercial. It was still zoned as residential. This is in the Centerville area. And I asked, how was that possible? If a doctor's office to my right, a doctor's office to my left, and I'm in the middle. But the explanation still was not zoned commercial. Then the following day, someone came and said they understood that my permit was denied. But if I were to do certain things, then it would be approved. And those certain things meant that I had to pay kickbacks. Being a young physician coming back, that bothered me. That bothered me. And I sent the message back to the relevant individual. I said to tell him that I'm younger than him. Hopefully, I would outlive him. And when he dies, I will build it. And I won't comment. But, Madam Speaker, I built that complex. I've always lived my life for the people. And in fact, I've made statements on multiple occasions, and I live by those statements. And I quote, I've said, I would rather lose an election than lose a country. And that's how all of us should feel. Country should be first. If I had represented just colors or represented party, as opposed to having the greatest liking for the people, I probably still would have been Prime Minister. And you all know that. But I thought the people should always be first. But, Madam Speaker, let me go into the resolution. The resolution put before us is for $200 million to purchase the power plant in Grand Bahama and another $80 million to upgrade. I've been informed that the facilities in Grand Bahama are probably worse than our facilities here in New Providence. And therefore, I don't know how we came about the figures, but that's a serious matter. Now, Madam Speaker, I would recall, and I agree with the resolution, and I would explain some points. But I would recall why I think it's important for you to get a complete breakdown of the facilities that's there. But most important, we need to know, have some idea, whether they're generating a profit every year or whether they're losing. That is important because when we made the bold step to purchase the airport, they wanted to sell the airport to us for $5 million. That's the Grand Bahamas Airport. And I wanted to know exactly what was the generation capacity at that time. The airport was losing $800,000 per year. That's what Grand Bahama, the Port Authority, was losing, $800,000 per year. And I argued that we cannot purchase an airport for $5 million and it's losing $800 per year. I'm going to offer you $1, no more. Because if I bought it for $1, I will incur your losses. Your losses are now mine, $800. So you are generating a profit of $800,000. You are moving from a loss to a profit, and I am moving to a loss. that discussion went on for months, and we came to the conclusion that we would buy the airport for $1, and we had plans for it. I say that because it's essential for you to know what are the conditions and the capacity of generation today and tomorrow of that power plant. Madam Speaker, there are many Bahamians who are looking for investment. There's over $1 billion in liquidity here today. And there are many who are looking for businesses to invest in. They don't want to start their own business because it's extremely difficult in the Bahamas to start a business. It's extremely difficult in the Bahamas to open a bank account. So they're looking for opportunities. I say to the government do not have the capacity to run such facilities. Government has a terrible track record. Be it you, be it us, or whoever, a terrible track record of business. Government's responsibility should be to create opportunities. Create opportunities for Bahamians to commence businesses and investment. And Madam Speaker, what I advise the government to do, this is a great opportunity for Bahamians to invest in the power company, especially Grand Bahamians who have been suffering so long. Set up a program as was done with the port, the cruise port. The cruise port is one of the greatest success in this country today. I think they all got dividends today. Bahamian, you see Bahamians walking down Bay Street smiling. That's because they got their dividends. You see Miles, you see Pinewood smiling. He got his dividends today. But use the same program. Allow the Bahamians to purchase the facility. Set a maximum level of investment for any individual or business, so as individuals don't try to grab up everything. And start from the bottom up so that Bahamians would have that opportunity to invest. And do as the port did. There are some individuals who may not have the funds to invest, but advance them, loan them $10,000 so that everyone would have the opportunity to invest. Loan them the $10,000. And the dividends that they receive quarterly, yearly, that dividends goes back to pay for that $10,000. So that at the end of the day, the average Bahamian would have come up with nothing but own something. And every month or every quarter, they would have returns. So I would ask the government, if they themselves are buying, offload it as quickly as possible to Bahamians. But do not allow 4, 5, 6 individuals to take the apple. Max them out. Max them out. And Madam Speaker, then government should maintain a percentage for a time. Example, the government purchases it, 60% is automatically offloaded to the Bahamians. Government maintains 40%. Within 3 years, they offload another 20% to the Bahamians, not at an increased cost, but at the cost that it was originally purchased, which would give the Bahamians, again, a benefit, because it meant that they would be purchasing something that you know would succeed. Then, in another 2 years, offload another 10% so that the government maintains no more than 10%. That 10% that the government maintains that represents the Bahamians at large, but every Bahamian, with or without money, had an opportunity to invest. We have to think about the future. We have to think about our children. And yes, I've made investments. I've been successful. And I live off my investment. I don't need, like I said, I'm not moved by money. I'm not moved by money. But, Madam Speaker, I would have loved to see us debating a resolution here today, raising money for hospital, not for a new hospital, but for supplies, for equipments, for medication, to readjust the salary scales if necessary. Health care in our country continues to deteriorate. It is a disaster. And it's not the government fault. Don't get me wrong. It's not your fault. That was a problem deteriorating from Pinling's time. Every government had the same challenges. But we played politics with health care. And as a result of that, Bahamians are denied health care and Bahamians are dying unnecessarily. Dying why? Not because of you, but because we all have failed the Bahamian people. That has to change. We cannot continue down the same road. It will continue to deteriorate. I've said in here before that we must have a committee, representation of the government, representation of the opposition, representation of COI, representation of the public, and representation of health fraternity. Because difficult decisions has to be made. But those decisions will save lives. Those decisions will improve the quality of life of our Bahamian populace. Without those decisions, our brothers and sisters will continue to die unnecessarily. Our brothers and sisters will continue to lose their limbs unnecessarily. They will continue to become blind unnecessarily. You are here to help the people, not just win elections. Yes, you can continue to give them poor health care and win election, but lose the people. So we must work together. There are 3 ministries, as far as I'm concerned, that should be beyond politics. Colors should play no role in health, education, and security. They are our future. It cannot be colors. Madam Speaker, I pose the question today to individuals of the political fraternity. And I will ask the COI representative first, whether he is willing to work along with a committee of representation of all to advance our healthcare system. Are you in favor of that, Central?
Absolutely.
And I pose that question to the PLP, to the government. Are you prepared to move our country forward without political involvement? And you said yes. I pose the same question to my colleagues. Because anyone who refuses I noticed there, but anyone,
1 minute.
The chair recognizes the honourable member for Freetown.
Madam Speaker, I move that the House to sit beyond 7 p.m.
seconded.
Thank you, honourable member. It has been moved and seconded that the business of this House proceed beyond the 7 p.m. hour. As many are in favor, will remain seated. Those opposed will stand. The motion is carried. The business of this House will now proceed beyond the 7 p.m. hour.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the COI has agreed. Yes. The government has agreed. I pose the question again to my colleagues, because anyone who refuses to move health in that direction is not interested in the people, and I ask the people, don't be interested in them. We must move forward. We must correct health. Life is foremost, and we must work together to move this country. Let's look at the family islands. We're talking about electricity. In Ragged Island, we constructed the solar plant, trying to create a model to move the family islands, solarization. We have Mother Nature up there. We were blessed with, and we must use as much of it as possible. And the system, I understand, is working. Needs maintenance, that's standard. And yes, you took credit for it. I accept that. I'm not interested in credit. I'm interested in success. I'm interested in success. Credit means nothing. Success means plenty. But, Madam Speaker, now it's time, I'm going to throw another carrot out. Now it's time that we look beyond that. There are some islands that may only have a small pocket of homes. One home may be 5 miles away from another. It is not cost effective to run lines that distance for 1 or 2 homes. It may be more profitable, I understand that, but it may be more profitable for the government to just advance or facilitate those individuals with the solar system for their home. It's cheaper. It's cheaper for us as Bahamians, for you, if we took government money and purchased the solar for them. It's a great savings for us. One home is here, another home is 5 miles, another one 10 miles. That's thinking out the box. It may be better for the government. Purchase the solar system for them, put the solar system in. You don't have to worry about spending another $5 million to run a line just to serve one other person. That in itself is a savings for millions. When we were talking about our subdivisions, and I want you to look at it again, our plan was foremost. And I'm going to go through this slowly so that the Bahamian populace would understand it. And I want you to reconsider it. The subdivisions, we were going to solarize all the subdivisions, purchase the solar panels en masse, use the government's power to obtain best prices possible, and allow and distribute it to the various homes in the subdivision. Each subdivision was going to have a solar storage plant facility so that the energy could be stored in such facility. And then that energy, we have to upgrade, and you're doing that. Pike is responsible for transmission and distribution, so you're upgrading the lines. That energy could go into the grid and into the power plant, and that can be sold to other personnel. And those individuals in the subdivisions, because their energy is going into the storage facility and into the power plant, they would be able to receive $30, $50 per month. That's opportunities for our people. Then what's happening in Iran, that would not affect our subdivisions or our people. So we have to look at that moving forward. Madam Speaker, I want to say two more things, especially the Bahamian people, before I close this debate. We must move beyond, at some point in time, and we have to start, voting, not necessarily colors, voting individuals who have your interests at heart. There are some politicians who are doing an excellent job in their constituency. Excellent. I don't care what color they're. But because we vote color, sorry, I'm going to call a name, the member for Seabreeze. The member for Seabreeze is doing a good job. But the member for Seabreeze, we would change her because we voting color, we moving yellow out. So what happens? What happens? That constituency suffers. They did themselves in. They moved an individual who has been doing good for them because they don't agree with color. We must move beyond that. We only hurt ourselves. We only hurt ourselves. Desmond Bannister was doing an excellent job. No disrespect, you're doing a good job too. No disrespect. He was doing an excellent job. But what you did, you moved him. Now, Michael was fortunate, but how many would be fortunate? How many would be fortunate? You can move because of color an individual who's making great contribution and moving you and your constituency forward. And you move them because, oh, they're COI, they're FNM, they're PLP, they're so-and-so. But, Madam Speaker, that represents maturity. That represents maturity. And if we want this Bahamas to move forward, to take its rightful place in this world, then we must be matured. The member for Central and South Lutra, who is not here today, but I understand that he's moving progressively and aggressively in repairing my roads and whatever is necessary in Kalani. And I'm happy about that. So the candidate, Kalani is listening to me. Your roads are being repaired, Bahama West, and the other roads that I've mentioned, the road between Atlantic Drive going into Plantation is being repaired. So I don't want the PLP candidate to believe, to jump in there and say, oh, she did it. Hell no, I've been arguing. But, Madam Speaker, I want to close by saying that I support the resolution, but I would love to see that in the hands of Bahamian people. And people may not like what I'm going to say now, but Grand Bahama has been suffering for a long time. With this opportunity, they should be the first to get such opportunity. And once it's advanced to the public, those in Grand Bahama who cannot afford to purchase should be advanced the $10,000 so that they would become owners in the company and their dividends would repay the loan so that they too can enjoy the wealth of the future. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.